Moto Mouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsport, and more with your host, Zoe. And I am the Interstate Battle Series, The Passion of the Christ in theaters 02-2504 Wellbutrin NASCAR livery.
I'm also Zoe, and I guess I'm just fucking V-carb today. What? That's horrific.
I love that.
Passion of the Christ?
That's what I'm saying.
No. I rebuke thee.
That's what I'm feeling today. I'm feeling that amazing NASCAR livery that came across my Instagram feed. Not to talk about Jorge Martin for 2 minutes at the top of the pod, every pod.
But let's talk about Jorge Martin for 2 minutes at the top of the pod.
Buddy.
Once again, I'm Tyra Banks saying we were all rooting for you.
Oh, Jorge, the Tiffany of MotoGP.
And Jorge Martin is the Tiffany of MotoGP once again. First of all, caveat, obviously I do not wish bodily harm on anyone in this sport.
No.
It happens too often. But Jorge, posted a picture, I think, end of last week, over the weekend, of him in, the medical grade,
incubator.
Oxygen pod. Yep. Also that. And we're like, wow, that's the same pod that Carlos Sainz was in, right?
Yeah, after his appendix removal. Appendectomy, if you will.
So, Jorge clearly is working hard. I can't judge him for that. But then in a quote-unquote training accident, he goes ahead and breaks... First of all, taking a step back, the original coverage of this dropped in, Motorsport Spain. It was in, a very small Spanish outlet, I think. We later find out, not only has he broken a bone in his hand that requires surgery, he has broken, I think, multiple bones in his hand, screwed up his healthy wrist, and has also broken a bone, minimum one bone, in his healthy foot. The man does not have a working limb on his body right now.
Okay, Lance Stroll.
So it was, worse than we thought, and now he's definitely not going to be at Bahrain in 4 days.
Jorge, I put you in my prediction for the season as P2. Do you know what's not going to allow me to be correct? You being fucking
broken
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty did have a great fall, and so did Jorge Martin when he was at testing.
And all the King's horses and all the King's men couldn't put Jorge Martin together again.
Do feel bad for his, chances this year, but also, what training accident? Why are you, as a man, full stop, training so hard after breaking so many bones that not only do you break more bones, you break your remaining healthy bones? He's like that guy from SpongeBob who's like, I have paper skin and glass bones.
And I cry myself to sleep every night.
Every night from the pain. I'm sorry, I hate to laugh, but I have to laugh.
I have to laugh.
A little bit.
I mean, Dr. Xavier Muir, get your bag, King.
Yeah, good for him.
I'm not even gonna revise my prediction because... I believe in miracles. I've never bastardized a song more. I am so sorry to the creators of The Prince of Egypt.
I can't believe you just did that, and this was recording.
There's no content I won't embarrass myself for. Speaking of the most embarrassing social media content ever.
Hit me.
I want to talk about this video that MotoGP posted a week ago now, where they asked the drivers to define quote-unquote Gen Z slang.
Oh, absolutely. We need to talk about this.
First of all, I think there was maybe one word in there that you could even remotely call Gen Z.
Was it T?
It was
Was that the one?
I don't know if it was, I think it was slaps I would call Gen Z 100%. I think T predated Gen Z.
Yeah.
Slaps is probably the one that I would give to them. The one that was particularly atrocious was On Fleek.
Oh, that was so bad.
Not only was that never said by somebody in Gen Z ever, I don't think it was ever said by anyone that's a millennial ever, not ironically.
Yeah, I remember On Fleek as elder millennials were saying.
As a joke.
I think there was a brief moment in time where it was kind of serious.
All right.
And then the younger kind of range of millennials. We're like, hey, what the fuck are you saying? Again, let us be very clear. On Fleek is just yet another example of many in which white people said, is that AAV that sounds cool? Let me just steal that and make it worse.
Same with Spill the Tea. I want to correct myself here. They said bop. I think bop is the one Gen Z slang that they got correct here. Do you know what makes a video on quote unquote Gen Z slang even less successful? When literally everyone in it is a non-native speaker of English.
It genuinely did not make sense for anything that they think maybe they could have been doing. Because one, none of them are native English speakers. They all are, like, they speak minimum 2 to 3 languages. So, like, they're much smarter than me. They don't speak English natively. All of them except for one are not Gen Z.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Do we want to do any predictions for the Thai GP?
Okay. So if we're talking Thai GP predictions, I don't feel comfortable making hard and fast podium predictions because we're still coming out of testing. Don't totally know.
I'm going to make you do top 3 hard and fast podium predictions.
Fuck. Okay. Podium predictions. I'm going to go with, obviously, I think Mark and Pecco.
P1, P2?
I will not commit to a P1, P2. I will not do it.
I'm making you commit for the social media content. I want P1, P2, P3.
Okay, I'm going to say Pecco P1, Mark P2. P3, there's a lot of dead air and I apologize, but I think for P3, I kind of thinking, can I give a 2 answer?
Fine.
I honestly kind of feel like it's going to be Pedro Acosta.
I was thinking Pedro Acosta.
Quartararo.
I was thinking Pedro Acosta. So what about your fail king? The person who's going to fail the hardest.
Fail king prediction for weekend 1 is, I'm going with Enea Bastianini because he had such a shit testing where I think he was like a second down on his 2024 time. I think it was at Birmingham. I think he was around a second down. Anyways, I think it's going to be bad. I love him, but I think it's not going to go great. That's my fail king choice for the weekend.
Okay. This is my P1, P2, P3. P1.
I'm ready.
I think it's going to be Pecco's going to win the sprint and get cocky, and then Mark's going to get P1.
Can I comment?
Sure.
I love that because I love people failing due to hubris. That's my thing. But Pecco, historically, famously, is real shit the entire weekend, and then on Sunday pulls it out of his ass somehow. He does it constantly. Dude has never had a sprint go perfectly his way except for 2.
I'm going to respond to that by saying, cool, I'm sticking with my guns because I'm not going to... Why bring logic into the situation?
Hey, maybe he's finally going to turn that streak around.
I think it's going to happen and get his hopes up, and then it's just going to be the exact same shit the rest of the year. I think that's what's going to go on. So P2, I think it's going to be... I'm going to go for Pecco. I think he'll probably be P2. And then for P3, I'm going to give the girlies what they want. I'm going to say Marco Bezzecchi.
He was also on my list.
So
he's on every list I make.
I think that he is going to hear some of the doubters, some of the haters, some of the critics, and he's going to say, I'm going to turn it out. I'm going to get on that bike and ride. Yeah, so I'm going to go with him for P3. I think that's going to be correct. And then for fail king, I'm just going to reach into my bag of tricks and say Fabio Di Gianantonio.
I think that's a safe choice. That's a great one.
I think that's just a safe, staple answer. With regards to the rest of kind of MotoGP, besides the sound of Jorge Martin's bones shattering, it's been kind of quiet this week.
But I get it, because we are actually going into the real season.
Which is exciting.
In a few days. I'm so excited. I feel like the sun is coming out from behind the clouds of clear winter, and I finally feel like I can live again.
Do you want to talk about something that is very nuclear winter-esque?
Are we talking about F175?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Oh, God. All right. Let's talk about it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Genuinely, I felt like if I had not watched it, I would have gotten the same amount of information, which is none.
I felt like this was a circle jerk.
I truly turned it on and I was like, what is Jack Whitehall doing here?
I have nothing bad to say about Jack Whitehall as a human being. I think he did,
No, he killed it.
he killed it.
He did a great job. To me, it just feels like there was a massive disconnect between what F1 is and what this event was.
Here's the thing about an all-male sport that really pisses me off, especially when, like, did any of them bring their wags?
I don't think so.
There wasn't even any good fashion
mean-
to look at. That's the thing that pisses me off. Like, Lewis, he turned it out, of course. But, like, I didn't even get to look at a sparkly dress.
No, and you and I love a sparkly
Love a
dress.
sparkly dress.
Where was Abby pulling?
Ab-
When we needed her most.
Abby Queen,
Where was she?
we need you now more than ever.
That was my other, like, big note for this. What the fuck was the dress code? Because I think Carlos showed up in, like, business, casual, and then
You've got
other people were in tuxes.
about to storm the Capitol.
Showed up looking like every guy that I went to college with sophomore year. Not a compliment.
Looks like the guys who would spit their dip into the water fountains at my high school.
Showed up dressed like the guy who carried around an empty plastic gallon so he could fill it up and drink it during class and, like, throw it around. Showed up looking like an off-brand Ellen DeGeneres, and we needed Dakota Johnson stat.
I got one more. Looked like a jackass.
I can't argue.
So, what was the fashion? Except, can I say who got it pitch perfect?
Who?
Aston Martin, as per usual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think Charles also looked nice. Like, I think he was going for, like, a vibe, but apparently his vibe was, like, slutty Mad Men.
It's hard to fuck up a Ferrari crest.
The suit, I don't know. I liked the suit. I thought it was very dramatic.
Yeah, the fashion was all over the place. The vibes were all over the place, and the team presentations themselves were all over the place. Anyways, yeah, I think that this whole event could be summed up by Max Verstappen's reaction to it, which was to never set foot in England again.
Yeah. So obviously the FIA and the FIM have the whole thing about the swearing and the fines and the inappropriate language. Basically, a couple hours before F1 75 started, a story dropped with comments from Max saying, I guess I just won't speak pretty much at all this season because of this inappropriate language situation. And that was, like, running around Twitter. Like, that's what everybody was talking about before F1 75. And then the event happened.
And you know who didn't
And-
say a fucking word?
Max Verstappen. He said nothing.
Good for you,
And then-
King.
And then Jos Verstappen, like, completely ruined the moment by saying he was really hurt by the booze, which, like, fine, whatever. Just, like, don't say that.
Don't fight your son's battles, Yas.
What he did, essentially, is he took all of the wind out of the sails of Max's whole week of that behavior. So he went into it saying, I'm not going to speak anymore. That was the story that everybody was talking about before the event.
Mm-hmm.
Event happens. He doesn't say a fucking word, as is his right. He gets booed. Reasonably, he should be upset and he should put his foot down. And I'm more than happy for him to never go to England other than Silverstone ever again. But Jos Verstappen, clearly breaking some kind of, like, cone of silence to run his fucking mouth. And now the story is Max is too emotionally offended to ever come back to England again because some people at this one event booed him. Is that the right story? No. Like, absolutely not. But it is the story that people are running with now. And I think that is, like, a huge mistake for the Verstappen camp. And is yet again another example of Jos Verstappen, for some reason, being exempt from the Verstappen camp being on the same page together. As a parent, I could see being like, fuck you guys, my kid's the best. Like, but one, it's Yo's Verstappen. Two, shut your fucking mouth.
Anyways, do you want to go ahead and rank the best of the best and the worst of the worst in terms of these stupid team presentations?
Yes. Yes. Should we start from the bottom?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going steak F1.
Yeah, I'm going to go steak F1 too because I can't recall anything about it. Steak for the bottom. And that's where they'll probably end the year too.
Next up
So
was,
9th.
for me, I think it was Alpine. I could not, like, as much as I love and adore Jack Doohan, the Alpine launch, it was like a house music DJ on stage for like 15 minutes.
I go back and forth because the whole thing was like dampened by the fact that like Jack Doohan is
I think the biblically accurate term is dead man walking.
literally a dead man walking. I thought that they had one of the best liveries.
I know, that's what makes me really sad because I feel like they finally went all in on the pink.
Finally.
I liked their car, hated the launch.
So that brings us to 8th. I'm going to put V-Carb here. People are going to say they've got the good livery, good livery. Have you seen the backside of those race suits?
Oh, it's really bad.
I think it's Michael Kors from the endless amounts of Project Runway that I watch is that anytime somebody would present to him like a drop crotch pants or something, he would say, and I hate the poopy pants. The poopy pants. And that's what these are. They're the poopy pants.
That is so true and also horrible, and I hate it. You know what the V-Carb livery feels like? It feels like wanting that Red Bull, I think
21.
Oh, 21 Turkish livery. I want the 2021 Red Bull Turkish livery so bad, but we're in the car on the way home, and someone says to me, we have a white Red Bull livery at home, and it's the fucking V-Carb.
Sperm Red Bulls splattered across the side.
Also, I saw this today. V-Carb made a statement about like the low or the, I guess, like minuscule presence of Cash App in the whole like livery for 2025. And there was some language about Visa, Cash App, and Racing Bulls, like, you know, having their identities as part of this partnership and like, no, which to me says Visa was locked in for a couple of years and now they don't want to be there anymore.
This to me says you're all a fucking liar and nobody wants to work with you because they were promised Daniel Ricciardo. We're at
7. This is apt. I think Haas is the next one.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That's fine.
Because I like truly, I kind of fucked with their like Americana thing. I know that's like such a low bar. It gets me every time. And also, it was nice to see Ollie Behrman in person and like the tallest string bean you've ever seen in your life.
He's so skinny.
They're gonna have to put extra weight on that car. I know he's super tall, but like, dude is a stick.
He looks like the result of somebody getting sucked into a black hole.
That poor kid. He looks like the result of like a hyper-specific industry practicing child labor. That's what Ollie Behrman looks like.
Wow.
Because that's what he is.
That's what he is. Yeah. That's got to be the tallest team ever, right? We've got now the tallest team and the team with no appendixes, which brings me to number 6, which I think is Williams.
I agree, because I think Williams had the best like launch
I
of
agree.
the entire like not top teams.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Someone at Williams has taste. Someone over there has some really good taste on things. And in this case, it was exhibited in their decision to use the song from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
What's Up, Danger? Great song choice.
Great song choice.
Do I think it fits Williams' vibes? No. We have two of the most posh people on the grid. Like, Carlos Sainz clearly is, like,
landed gentry.
Descended from royalty. We know this. But, like, Alex is also pretty...
I think he's also descended from royalty and landed gentry. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. I think he is part of the peerage.
Yes, I agree 100%. He is a part of the peerage.
Like, related in some way. We know he is. So, like, it's kind of nuts that the appendixless team is also, like, the peerage.
appendicitis affects us all regardless of class.
You're so right. That's on me. I need to go back and, listen and learn.
Williams, make a white car. Love the battery still. The battery's going to be always the best thing about that car.
I know. I really love it. Like, they committed, and I think they've kept it, and it's perfect branding.
It's perfect branding. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. This is going to bring us into the top teams. Fifth.
Oh, I know what my fifth is.
Okay, what's your fifth?
McLaren.
I was going to say McLaren. I'll say one nice thing about McLaren.
Okay.
I was a history major. I like a team that respects its history. That's a lot. I'm done.
Period. I'll say one thing nice about McLaren. I really love the 3 previous constructors winning cars being on stage with them. That was really great. And I think, is it the Vodafone one that's like silver?
With the chrome, yeah.
That car fucks so hard. Obsessed with it. Nice comment over. Mean comment incoming. What the fuck are you guys doing by following up those 3 beautiful elderly ladies with your weird, Jersey Shore looking slut? It's horrific. How could you do that to them?
It's like you are disgracing the legacy of Bruce McLaren, Senna, Prost,
Ron Dennis.
Ron Dennis would never.
No, it's horrific. Truly and honestly, beyond my immediate and emotional response, it is embarrassing to be we're going to bring our most successful, most beautiful cars up with us just to show you the steaming pile of shit we got this year visually. I don't know how good the car is. It's probably pretty good.
Also,
that's my take.
F-175 could have been better if they took Lando Norris's dick out of their mouth for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, everyone needs time to breathe. Okay, dunking on McLaren time is over for now. We will come back most likely at literally any episode. Who do you have in P4?
Ferrari.
Interesting choice.
The only thing keeping them away from being at the very bottom of the list for me was how good their actual launch was. But to me, it is every single second of it, every single thing they will ever do is ruined by that massive fuck-ass blue HP logo.
Okay, I totally forgot about the HP logo, and that's on me. I'm so sorry. Ferrari is also in P4 for me.
That's what I'm like.
I'm aligned.
It looks awful on their suits. It looks awful on their car. And then they have the audacity. You are a product of the great Philip Morris. The audacity to mimic Marlboro with fucking HP? The audacity. I'm offended on your behalf.
I'm actually, now listening to this, yeah, I am a product of the late, great, and honestly murderous Philip Morris, who did, I think, as a company, commit crimes against the American public in ways that we are still reckoning with.
And humanity.
But those cars were sexy.
They were sexy.
Sexy cars.
Very sexy.
Yeah. I think I was so struck by the light show and the Charles and Lewis of it all
that for a brief glistening moment you forgot about the fuck-ass HP logo, and I've brought you crashing down to the cold hard earth.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
The light show was really good.
It was really good.
Of all of the car reveals, I think theirs was the best.
Yeah, I agree. But
all right.
Sucks to suck.
We're duking it out.
All right.
What's next?
P3 for me is Merc.
Did we do the math wrong?
What?
Oh, we didn't do the math wrong. I forgot about Mercedes. Wow. They really should have gotten P4.
They should have, but that's how bad the logo is.
HP, this is what you've done.
I don't like the little bubbles up the side of their suit pants.
I don't either. I don't really like the suits. The car is carbon fiber and it's boring. I think the only redeeming part of the Mercedes launch for them this year is that Kimi Antonelli is really freaking cute.
He's so cute.
I think I'm really going to like him.
Me too.
I think I'm really gonna like him. It's so refreshing to have like a new accent that isn't English. Yeah, we got like last year, and like I digress. But like it's so nice to have an Italian in F1.
Can I just say, I cannot wait for the day in 10 years when Kimi Antonelli is a Ferrari driver,
10 years?
if not sooner.
I'm putting money on 5.
All right. Anywhere between 5 to 10 years. I don't think Toto's going to let him out of his cage for like at minimum 7.
Disagree.
I agree.
So I'll give you my P2 and my P1.
All right.
P2, Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm.
P1, Red Bull.
P2, Red Bull. P1, Aston Martin for me.
Yep, I knew it. Here's my thinking. 1, Aston Martin did a great job. And like, to be totally honest, it was the most fun I think I had during one of the launches. I love the Daft Punk reference. That was like really fun, and I don't think was the point, but I liked it. The stuff about like the motorboats turning into the car, like it was just, I think there was a good amount of like campy fun, and then also legitimate, like, this is our vibe, this is our brand, here are our partners, and then we're transitioning into our like little guys on the stage. Loved it. Like, had a great time. I think though Red Bull takes the win for me because Red Bull, for the first time in what feels like years, used an asset that Red Bull is one of the only companies in the world to have,
Mm-hmm.
which is that huge, dense network and community of batshit insane athletes doing batshit insane things.
Yeah.
And I think like that's what's really missing from the current iteration of Red Bull and F1. Like, they've lost that like work hard, play hard, win hard kind of vibe because they were winning for so long.
But can I just say,
I want that like spirit of, I don't know, like I want that spirit of like, we employ people and we support people and we sponsor people who are going above and beyond, not because they feel like they, want to, but because they feel like they need to. And I think that I really resonated with the Red Bull of it all. Also, love that Max didn't say a fucking word.
This is my thing about Red Bull, and this is why they're P2 to me. I agree with everything you just said. The issue is it all rang hollow. There was no heart behind it. It felt like they were playing at being Red Bull, if that makes sense. I'm sorry. You cannot come out on stage and be like, we're Red Bull and we're the villains of F1 and we're the party guys and we have fun and win hard, play hard, and then literally be so far back on the stage that I can't even see you because you came so low in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not great. And it doesn't look like they're going to do it again this year.
And this is why Aston Martin was number 1 for me. There is not a single moment of that night that Aston Martin did not commit to the bit. From the moment that Fernando took off his jacket over his suit jacket as he got out of the car, to the Daft Punk reference, to the fucking orchestra, to the
Oh, I forgot the violins.
You forgot
it was so
the
good.
violins. Aston Martin has never once not known who their ideal brand is or what their ideal brand is. They are opulent. They are
rich motherfuckers.
Rich,
I kind of love it.
Motherfuckers, and they lean into it. They don't shy away from it. They don't try to pretend to be anything they aren't. And that's why they won the night for me. You've got Fernando Alonso saying, yeah, we're the best. And you've got them in impeccable suits. You've got, by far, I think, the best livery on the grid.
No, it is really good.
The other thing is, too, is that this is a British event. Out of all of the teams, Aston Martin is the British team to me. They are...
Well, and they have James Bond.
They have James Bond. They're in British racing green. They lean into it. They don't have the New Zealand ties that McLaren tries to ignore. They are the British team. And so it was like they won the night for me. Like, it just, everything aligned for Aston Martin to win the night.
I think I'm going to change my vote.
Thank you.
You've convinced me.
Yay. So that was F1 Live 75.
Can we talk about recent events in World Rally Car?
I mean, cast our glances to the wide world of motorsport. We absolutely can.
Oh, heck yes. Okay. World Rally Car. Which, I'll be honest, I don't really watch. Like, sorry to that man. But they did this week what could potentially be the first, like, big event in a serious conversation
The
about
domino.
labor practices.
The first domino.
In motorsport. Yeah. And they were the first, drivers organization. I don't know if we can really call them a union yet. They're the first drivers organization to say, hey, FIM, FIA, what the fuck is going on? This is unacceptable. And I thought their reasoning was really interesting too. Because not only did they say, you know what, yeah, like, we understand why you have an issue with the quality of language. We get that. They went further and said, hey, we're the ones putting our lives on the line, doing an insane sport where insane things happen. We should have the respect from anyone watching and entertaining themselves because we're doing something extreme. We should have the ability to react accordingly.
I think they bring up a really interesting point that I don't even think Mohammed bin Salman understands or knows, which is that the FIA does not just equal F1.
Yeah.
It represents a ton of different motorsport disciplines. And the consequences that you are levying, essentially at Max Verstappen, have effects on people who are, like they said in their post, not full-time drivers, are paid significantly less than F1, but are governed by the same rules in the same governing body. And yes, and the FIA are just like, I get that F1 is your most successful product, but you are not a business. You are a sports governing body. And your rules and your actions have consequences. And like they said, where is this money going?
Where's the money going? There's no transparency. As far as I know, no one has any answer.
Yeah. So I'm just saying this. Strike, 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 strike. I love unions.
This is a pro-unions podcast.
I thought it was interesting. I don't know when, like, Carlos Sainz Sr. deigns to call himself a rally driver versus when not. I thought that this statement...
I was looking for his name on the comment, too. Is there a difference between World Rally Car and Rally Dakar? I mean, I wouldn't know. But yeah, I was also looking for his name on the statement. So,
especially because his son...
Oh yeah, his son is now the F1 GPDA director. So what this says to me is that there, I think, is room and a serious possibility for other series to also say, you know what, if they're coming forward talking about this after seeing the consequences of this rule being enforced, and it's hitting them that hard, it's going to hit us harder.
I mean, what? Are you going to get...
especially with the whole, like, point about the exorbitant fines, where is the money? And a lot of these guys have other jobs. Like, this is not paying any of their bills.
Especially the co-drivers.
I'm interested to see what happens with WEC in this same vein.
I agree.
It's like, could you imagine doing 24 hours of Le Mans and then your entire team getting fined for saying some shit on the radio?
While you were sleep deprived?
Without sleep? Yeah. Like, I think WEC is going to be a serious turning point of it, too. Because, like, could you imagine Valentino Rossi being told, you have to pay us £20,000?
Jenson Button?
Jenson Button's already bankrupt. Jenson Button doesn't have money, dude. He is auctioning off his Braun GP car. He's fucked.
But he can't say he's fucked. And that's sad.
No. Valentino can. He can say, allora,
Caso.
vaffanculo.
All right. I think that brings us to the grid as ... which, for the uninitiated, is a moment at the end of every podcast where we assign a handful of riders and drivers from the wide world of motorsport as a concept in the universe, person, place, thing. And I suggest that we assign them to F175 reveals.
I'm going to go with Jorge Martin, and I'm going to go with Fabio Quartararo. Jorge Martin, in his paper skin, glass bones era.
Full body cast.
I'm going full body cast. I'm going for Williams, which is the only team that I think can match him in medical nonsense.
Agreed, 100%.
Also, Carlos Sainz, when Carlos, like we talked about earlier, when Carlos was in his appendix recovery, he was in that isolation pod. So it's a natural pairing there.
I agree.
Fabio Quartararo, I think. Okay, stick with me on this one. Fabio Quartararo is Aston Martin to me.
Okay.
Because Fabio, and this is true for I think a lot of MotoGP guys, they are themselves fully all the time, forever. But Fabio has like a sense of kind of style and just like, I like what I like and I'm going to wear it whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
And he just is himself fully in a way that I think really vibes with Aston Martin.
Agree.
That's that on that.
I couldn't say anything else. Who have we talked about? I guess we'll go with Sainz and Alex, Carlos and Alex, because that's seemingly who we've talked about. For Alex, I'm gonna say Alex is he's giving, not just because they're his former team, but I think he's giving Red Bull energy. There's something about this preseason where his heart's not fully in it.
Well, would yours be?
No. So that's where I'm kind of going with that, is that I think that he gave his blood to Helmut Marko, and there's something intrinsic there, and I think he's feeling their dragging down, and I think that maybe Red Bull's being dragged down by him. Yeah. So
remember like a year and a half ago, Red Bull was really interested in seeing if they could get Alex from Williams. What would the world be like if that had happened? That's a question for another day.
But anyways, and then I'm going to say for Carlos Sainz, he's giving Haas energy. Specifically, he's giving Ollie Behrman energy. He's giving me earnest, so earnest. And not really.
I think there's a part of Carlos that really truly believes he can drag Williams out of obscurity. Do I agree? No. Do I love that he thinks that? Sure.
He's got a light in his eyes that's just about to be crushed, just like Ollie Behrman.
Yeah. Except what's funny is that Ollie's ahead of him on that. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Ollie knows his stake in the game right now.
But also, my thing is, too, is that I will say this about both Haas and Williams. Maybe the Toyota partnership is going to be really good for Haas, and maybe Carlos could be really good for Williams. We just don't know. I guess we're going to find out this week during F1 testing.
Crazy.
And that brings us to the end of the pod.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a natural conclusion.
When we come back next week, we will definitely be recapping the Thai GP. We'll see if our predictions are correct. We'll probably talk a little bit about F1 testing and the shenanigans happening there, and just continue to have a great time.
Stay tuned to see if we have our appendixes still.
Such a good point. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Motomouths. We're a great time. Come hang out with us. And let's keep chatting soon.
Bye.